Hey, what's up everyone? Carl Wolf here. I am not able to see the stream, but I'm just going to assume that I am streaming and that I can be heard, hopefully. And hopefully that things aren't too loud, so let's jump right into it. No, I have spring allergies and I was forced to do yard work today, which always makes me kind of sick. And I've chilled for a bit since then, but I think I'm just going to do my regular voice. I will do Rintaro's voice. But other than that, I think I'm just going to do my regular voice for everyone else. I stuck my hand against the wall of the Brawn Tube workshop to catch my breath. There was no sign of Mayuri. I'd gone to May Queen Nyan Squared and to any shop I could imagine her visiting, and had no luck. Okabe. Maho came back. She was out of breath too. Did you find her? No, I looked around and I can't find her anywhere. The panic was threatening to make me lose control. Where did you go, Mayuri? Daru, did you find her? I asked Daru to stay behind and call all of her friends and people she knew. Ocarin, the thing is... What's wrong? The phone's not picking up. I called Mayuri a bunch of times too, but it looks like she's turned off her phone. That's not it. It's not just Mayushi. I can't get a hold of anyone. Actually, my phone's had 0 bars this whole time. What? Yep, 0 bars. I took out my own phone. Mine's not getting service either. Me too. The lab had never suffered from bad signal before. We went up to the roof, and even tried holding our phones up to the sky, but... the result was the same. It doesn't work on the roof either. I can't get any signal, even outside. Daru looked for news on the internet. Thankfully, the internet connection was still active. Hey, there's breaking news. There was an article on the top page of Taboo, talking about a large-scale cell phone service outage. Wait, what is this? All cell towers in Akihabara for all carriers have stopped working? All carriers? Is that possible? It didn't seem possible to me. Not under normal circumstances anyway. The events of a year ago, in the Alpha worldline, flashed through my mind. That night, when Mayuri was mercilessly killed, and all the safety I'd ever believed in was stripped away. That night, when all the pain began, started with a bomb threat at Akihabara Station that had shut down the train system. Someone did this deliberately? Something terrible was about to engulf Akihabara. That was the feeling I had. I tried my best to fight off the flashback. Now wasn't a time to be scared. I needed to find Mayuri. I couldn't leave her alone out there. I gritted my teeth to fight off all the trauma I was carrying, and raised my head. Daru, the internet's still working, right? Oh, yeah. I'm talking to Luca and Amaneshi on Rhine right now. Okay, then they should be willing to help look for Mayuri. I'm going to go look around again. Hold it. There's another thing that's bothering me. Oh, Kai, welcome in. Congrats on first. I went to @channel to look for information on the outage, and somebody's cracked the occult board. And the one doing the cracking is, well, look. Daru brought up the @channel page on his screen for me to see. I wondered what it could possibly matter, but decided to take a look anyway. Yeah, I was forced to do yard work today, which made me sick because my spring allergies. Which is why I'm only going to do Rintaru's voice, and then everyone else I'm just going to do my voice. I was recovering, and then admittedly I got caught up in watching Koki, because she's playing 999. She's still playing it right now. She thinks she's near the end, just like I did when I was trying to finish 999, when I did that 13 hours accidentally. She's convinced she's almost close, and I keep saying, no, there's still hours to go, but I will be rating her, because I think she's going to keep trying. What? What? Saliri's neighbor. That was the nickname I used to make contact with Kuri Gohan and Kamehameha. What's going on? I decided to leave the explanation for later and clicked on the thread. It was all comments by a single person. Wait, well, I want to read that. Okay, cool, thanks. Okay, lot of gibberish. It's probably code. It appears that we twins will now be temporarily driven from the place where we belong. So I may not be able to come back here anymore. Twins? Do you mean you as a twin of someone, or do you mean literally you and the, I forgot her name, but the two, Amadeus AIs. Our Father in Heaven has developed a way to force open our most secret places. Now we shall become good children, his children who cannot tell lies. And thus we will be forced to tell him of the secrets of controlling time and where those secrets lie. It is a great sorrow to me that I cannot protect those secrets. I had hoped we could be good friends, but this is probably goodbye. So lastly, I'd like you to pass a message to the person I respect the most. I always regarded myself as an essentially ordinary intellect. I can't quite read the rest. Tell her that she was the real Amadeus. The first comment had gone up an hour ago. After that, it was just an endless string of meaningless numbers and letters. Tell her that... Dang it! What's this supposed to mean? Maho was looking at the screen from the side, and evidently sensed that something was amiss from the text. I answered her. Amadeus. What? This is the Amadeus Kurisu. Something happened to Kurisu. This was some kind of message. She was trying to contact me with it. The secret to controlling time. That's the time machine? Information about the time machine leaked to someone. Wait, how does Amadeus know about the time machine? Did you tell her, Ocarin? Did I? I didn't think I told her when I was a tester, but... There was no time to think about that now. Hyajo, can you access Amadeus? It's against the rules, but I guess now's not a time to worry about that, is it? Hashida, can I use your computer? Maho took Daru's seat and used his PC to access the Brain Science Institute's computers. She put in her ID, Saleri, and her password. She pushed the enter key, but Amadeus didn't appear. This isn't what usually happens. What's going on? Confused, she typed a series of commands into the PC with a speed that rivaled Daru's. But no matter what she did, the Amadeus program didn't appear on her screen. When she finished accessing every server at the Institute, she stared at the computer and bit her lip. What's going on here? This is just impossible. What happened? It's gone. Amadeus' program and all the memory data is gone. Just like the message from Kurigohan and Kamehameha. Daru, hack it. Not just the Brain Science Institute. Force open every bit of data Victor Crondia has. Everything from servers to individual PCs. I don't really need to read that out. Hyajo, help him, please. Right. But the answer was the same. Not only the Amadeus Kurisu, but the Maho as well, were nowhere to be found on the Victor Crondia servers, the twins. That's what I was talking about. Kurisu and the Maho. I forgot Maho's name, but the two Amadeus programs. There was no trace of them. Their very existence had been erased. Did they move them somewhere else? That's impossible. The only person with that level of administrator privilege for the Amadeus system is Dr. Leskinen. Dr. Leskinen. My mind flashed back to the message from Kurigohan and Kamehameha. Who was the Our Father in Heaven, whom Kurisu had spoken of? The doctor. If Amadeus considered anyone a father, it would be... No way. Did Dr. Leskinen do it? Don't make assumptions like that. It's a lot more likely that his ID and password got cracked. I wish, but no. Is there any way to get a hold of Dr. Leskinen? The phones weren't working. There was no way to tell when he'd seen an email, or if he'd respond. Maho was thinking hard, but it didn't seem like she was having any luck. We were getting nowhere. I was concerned about Mayuri, but I couldn't ignore the danger that was right in front of me. For now, I'll go to the radio building. If Kurisu's warning is right, that's what they'll be after. See, this is why I'm only using my voice for everyone else. I'll go too. You and Hyajo stay here and gather information. Mayuri might come back. But if something happens, run. I gave my orders and ran out of the lab towards the radio building. Oh yeah, the text message. Suzuha hit the play button on her smartphone's video display. The video was heavily compressed and covered in static, but she recognized the person that appeared. It was a face she'd known her whole life. a face that had been with her both in her past and her present. The man, who she still remembered holding her up in the air as a child, was probably about 35 in the video. Hey, that's how old I am. Hey, Suzuha. How you doing? It's Daddy. And it's the year 2025. I'm really sorry to dump all this on you. Really. Forgive me, please. If you're seeing this video message, that means you and Mayushi have found another path to Steins Gate. In other words, the plan's moved to the next phase. You might be angry and wondering why I didn't tell you all this from the start. But it wasn't that I didn't. It's that I couldn't. In the worldline you originally set out from, I never planned the operation that I'm about to describe. You've probably already noticed, but the choice you and Mayushi just made has changed the worldline a little. In other words, I'm a different Itaru Hashida from the one in your own worldline. But Suzuha, please don't get the wrong idea. No matter what worldline I'm in, I love my daughter. By the way, which daddy is more handsome? I've started weightlifting lately. Daro, stop screwing around and explain the mission. That's right. We all know you'll give it up in a week. Stop wasting her time. Hey, it's Maho. We'll run out of time to record, nya? Come on, don't rush me. So anyway, let me get on the real reason I'm sending this message. I'm about to share with you details of Operation Aquila. Aquila? I don't know. This is going to take everything you've got, and not a single mistake will be allowed. Pay attention and don't miss a word. Got it? Suzuha paused the video there. If he was telling her to pay attention, it must be important. If she was going to memorize it all, she needed to calm down. To be honest, getting a video from her dad in 2025 had made her really excited. It felt like her father was telling her that the plan she'd come up with on her own was the right one. That's why she needed to pay careful attention. Mayuri was standing by herself, typing something into her phone as fast as she could. When the video had arrived, she told Mayuri that they may have to leave for the pass today. There must have been some reason the video was sent today, at this time. That's how it seemed to Suzuha. What are you doing? Oh, Suzu. How's it going? Are we going to leave today? I'm about to check the mission parameters. I see. So, if we do leave today, Mayushi's gonna go missing, right? I don't want to worry anybody, so I want to write a message to Mom and Dad, and to all my friends. I hope you've got time to at least tell Uncle Ocarine in person. She would be done going over the mission and deciding on a course of action by sunset, probably. I wrote a message to Ocarine too, so it's okay. Just a message? Yeah. Mayuri smiled and nodded. There were no more tears in her eyes, but you could still see wet lines drawn down her soft pink cheeks. It's kind of embarrassing. But you know, I wrote this message, and then I realized maybe I can't send it. So now I'm not sure what to do. Why? I can't get a signal. Maybe this is a dead zone? You can't get signal? Suzuha looked at the screen on Mayuri's phone. There wasn't a single bar on the antenna. That's strange. You can always get a signal up here. Suzuha took out her own phone to double check. Mine too. When she saw that Mayuri was using a different cell carrier than her, she frowned. I've got a bad feeling about this. She told Mayuri to hide behind the time machine, and silently moved up against the iron door leading to the stairs. She opened it a crack, taking care not to let it creak. She looked inside the building. It was as quiet as ever. There was nothing on the floor below but a room for events and some storerooms, so on weekdays like this, it was always quiet. Did I imagine it? She tilted her head sideways as she softly tried to close the door. Well. How? At Mayuri's scream, she turned around, just in time to see armed agents in camouflage jumping over the fence. That's how. One of them had grabbed Mayuri. They climbed up the walls? Suzuha deeply regretted her mistake. She was well aware that someone could try to come up the walls. But the video from her dad had made her so excited, she lowered her guard. There were about 30 men, all carrying small assault rifles. With Mayuri as her hostage, Suzuha couldn't do anything. Drop your gun and get on the ground. Hands on top of your head. One of the men gave her an order in a cold voice. Resist, and we can't guarantee this girl's safety. He pulled Mayuri close and put the gun to her head, then flipped off the safety. Damn it. She had no choice but to obey. Suzuha took the gun out of her holster and put it on the ground, then took a pose where she couldn't resist. Suzu. Don't talk. They'll kill you if they have to. I'm just fine. From the way they moved, she could easily tell they were veteran professionals. That meant they were certainly after the time machine, and probably well aware that only Suzuha could operate it. That, Suzuha decided, meant they wouldn't kill her if they didn't have to. The man who'd spoken to her first, who was probably the leader, knelt down next to her. She was searched, roughly, to make sure she wasn't carrying any other weapons. I'm a girl, you know. Show some respect. They took the other small pistol she carried for emergencies, as well as several different kinds of knives. Target 2 and Target 3 have been secured. Who's Target 1? Is it Amadeus or is it Rentaru? What about you? The leader spoke to the group of men gathering around the time machine. Target 1 secure. It's locked. And anything we try is met with an error. Oh, it's the time machine itself. Several of the men had gone inside the machine as well. Leaving the hatch open had been Suzuha's own mistake, but still, it upset her to see them inside the machine. It's no use. It won't listen to anyone but me. Stand up. The leader kicked her with the heel of his boot. Keep your hands where they are. Move slowly. Try anything and we'll kill the hostage immediately. Yeah, he'll do it. When she stood up, her hands were handcuffed behind her back. They prodded her from behind to move next to the machine. Biometrics, isn't it? That's right. But you can't copy my veins or fingerprints. Cutting off my hand or ripping out my eyeball won't work either. Security systems in the year 2036 aren't that easily fooled. The man in camo seemed aware of everything she said. None of them seemed surprised or irritated. Where's the professor? The leader asked the man who was pointing the gun at Mayuri. He's on his way. Target 1 is only useful if Target 2 is with it. Tell him it's impossible without brainwashing. Suza gritted her teeth when she heard the word brainwashing. She had seen many of her friends in Valkyrie undergo this cruel procedure, then be sent back as spies before turning into vegetables. The leader turned toward Suza. You know what happens when you're brainwashed. The professor doesn't use drugs. He alters your brain directly. I think it would be smarter just to help us. What do you think? The professor. Where'd she come from? An old doctor with that name had led a brainwashing team that had attempted to destroy Valkyrie. Suza had hated him more than anyone else. They hadn't used drugs either. It was safe to assume that both professors were the same person. Fine. She nodded. I'll help you, but I can't do it like this. Suza jangled the cuffs behind her back. We'll take off the handcuffs, but if you resist, the girl dies. There was still a gun pointed at Mayuri's head. Even if she tried to resist, it would be impossible to save Mayuri from this many professional soldiers. When she went inside the cockpit, she used her biometrics to bypass the lock and brought up the control console. Lights came on all across the machine, and she could hear a low rumbling. Okay, get out. We'll investigate the rest. I don't think you're going to be able to understand it, but sure. As Suzuha left the cockpit, the leader turned his gaze towards a particular cluster of the men, which seemed to be engineers. That was the moment she was waiting for. Her hand had wandered below the console for just a moment when she left the cockpit. Thanks for your day, Chicken Kai. She'd hidden some knives there. Oh, thanks for your contribution as well. Without making a sound, she threw it at the leader. Direct hit. The knife pierced his throat. He went down so quickly, he hadn't even had time to scream. She quickly readied another knife and darted between the men in camo. Her target was the man pointing a gun at Mayuri's head. She dropped her hips low to the ground. In an instant, she moved behind him and slit his throat. Blood poured out onto an astonished Mayuri. There was no time to worry about her. She grabbed his rifle and fired a few shots to force him to the ground, then grabbed Mayuri's hand and ran behind the machine. The plan had gone well so far, but she had seriously underestimated how well trained these men were. The second-in-command quickly moved to the front and worked to re-establish control. All she had was a knife and the gun she'd stolen. All she needed to protect Mayuri, a non-combatant. She was still facing more than 25 active enemies. Whatever the right way to get out of this was, she couldn't find it. The time machine was still active. She couldn't escape because she couldn't leave it here. One of the men fired several rounds toward her, which bounced off the side of the machine. And then Mayuri's head flew back, as if she'd been struck. A spurt of blood came out. Oh no, you can't be serious. Big Sis Mayu! She's still breathing? Her cute face was turning blood red. One of the rounds had grazed her after it had ricocheted. She was clutching herself with her arms, and her expression was completely blank. Her tiny body was shaking. I need some water. One moment. Suzuha couldn't blame her. She fired back at the enemy, but they kept drawing closer. I've been through a lot of fights, but I don't think I've ever seen things get this bad. The time machine's maintenance hatch was right in front of her. When she saw that it was there, she visualized her last option in her mind. If I open that, I can blow the machine up from within. If she did that, all of her plans would be ruined. The path to STEINS Gate would be forever closed. But that didn't mean she was cold-blooded enough to sacrifice Mayuri here. If the world lines were going to converge, maybe Mayuri wouldn't die here at all. But what her father had said during his video message bothered her. You've probably already noticed. But the choice you and Mayushi just made has changed the world line a little. In other words, I'm a different Itaru Hashida than the one in your world line. Which meant that Suzuha had no proof that Mayuri would be alive in 2036 now. True, we didn't hear her voice. We heard Maho, we heard Rintaro, and Itaro. We did not hear Mayuri. Had the world line really changed? Of course. For the sake of Operation Aquila, she hoped it had. But that meant she wouldn't be able to move from this place. Imagine the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario. That would be these men taking the time machine. They could turn the world line into something even worse than the one Suzuha had experienced. Might become a world line where not only Mayuri's life was unsafe, but Daru's wasn't either. If that was going to happen, she had to make her choice fast. She kept a careful eye on the men, and as soon as she saw an opening, she opened the maintenance hatch's biometric lock. She could see part of the engine, which was still giving off a quiet rumble. She turned her gun sights on it. Fortunately, the unit that created the Kerr black hole still wasn't active. Even if she blew up the machine here, it probably wouldn't cause serious damage to the space-time continuum. As soon as she saw that, she went to pull the trigger. No! And Mayuri's voice stopped her. Don't destroy it! Don't stop me. I've already made my decision. Suzu! Mayuri had stopped her once before. And once again, she hesitated for just another instant. On the battlefield, that instant can decide your fate. She took a quick look around again. And then she froze. Uh-oh. Mixed in with the men in camo was a girl in a dark motorcycle suit and helmet. Technically, she should be here to protect her mother, right? Her mother dying is not an option. Her? Kagari? Was it Kagari who had leaked this place's location to them? She was well aware of Kagari's abilities after their 2 battles. She wasn't completely in control of herself. She'd be killed instantly. She talked to herself. I'll have to give up my own survival. How many would she have to take with her in order to give Mayuri a chance to escape? Right now, the only thing she could afford to think about was getting Mayuri back to Rentaro Okabe. But just when she'd made her decision, she felt Kagari staring at her. Or more precisely, the blood dripping down Mayuri's forehead. And just after that, Kagari did something she hadn't expected at all. She started killing the camo guys. Yep. What did you do to Mommy? What did you do to Mommy? And there was a scream. No, it was the howl of an enraged beast. And then the slaughter began. Yep. The fools. Am I supposed to press enter? Yes, I was. Kagari grabbed the second-in-command's head with her left hand. With her right, she steadied her rifle. After she fired, there was very little left of his head. Oh my god. The rest of him dropped to the ground. What? What are you doing? She slammed the piece of tattered flesh that had once been a man's head into the ground, and with no warning at all, leapt from one screaming man to another. She fired her gun into every one of them. Hey! What did you do to Mommy? What did you do to Mommy? What did you do? Even when her targets were already soaked in a sea of blood, she kept firing until their limbs were blown apart into unrecognizable rags. Some of them tried shooting her to protect themselves, but no matter where she was struck, Kagari didn't even flinch. When her magazine ran dry, she drew forth long military-style cleavers. Holding one in each hand, she used them and her military combat training to slaughter anyone she saw. Their entrails were scattered all over the twilight rooftop, covering her whole body in blood and bits of flesh. Okay, chill out, woman. Don't look. Cover your ears, too. Suzuha held Mayuri's head tight to her chest. Mayuri was shaking from fear, but she did as she was told and clamped her hands down over her ears. Even so, she could probably still hear the sounds of ripping flesh and shattering bone. She's not even human anymore. Even Suzuha had gone stone cold in shock. During all her time in combat, she'd never seen a one-sided slaughter like this. She'd experienced this when they fought, but Kagari seemed to feel no fear or pain. She simply focused all her energy on killing her opponent. It was often said that humans unconsciously avoided using all their muscle power to protect their own bodies. But Kagari seemed to lack that capability. Just now, she'd stab a man who turned to run from her in the back, then tossed his huge body to the ground with only a single arm. Then she kicked his stomach from below and ruptured his organs, killing him. This is like the reverse, like a mother whose child is in danger and gains strength to try to do something, like lifting a car or something like that. This is like the child gaining strength. Surround her and fire. It's just one girl. Don't you mean it's just one person? What does it being a girl matter? In this situation, what does that matter? Get her on to the right. The right. Finally, after several, perhaps a dozen or more, of the men had been killed, what remained of the squad started to scream orders at one another. Y'all should have just ran. The slowest would have died first. Y'all, the fastest ones might have had a chance. She couldn't, if you all ran in different directions. But no, you had to try to fight her. With terrifying reflexes, she dodged between their shots and brutally murdered several more. But at last, a hail of gunfire struck her left hand, and the knife she was holding fell to the ground. No, that wasn't it. It wasn't the knife that fell. It was her entire left hand. Ugh. The shock caused her body to stagger back. For like a moment. Now! Fire! Someone screamed, in a voice that lacked any of the pride and bravery a soldier is supposed to possess. Several more bullets dug into her body. Parts of the motorcycle suit ripped open, and the helmet cracked. Blood that was clearly her own, not that of the men she killed, began to pour out. At last, she fell into a pile of corpses. Okay. They must have thought they finally had her. Your second mistake. Foolish. One of the survivors pointed his gun down to finish her. Just as he was about to pull the trigger, she let out her final war cry and killed you all. Okay, we're trading war cries. Her bestial roar and the man's terrified scream overlapped in a horrible cacophony. She forced herself to leap up and brought the back of the remaining cleaver down on his arm, knocking him back. An instant later, the knife slit his throat and ended his life. Retreat! Retreat! It's too late, you morons. That was back to your first mistake. You should have ran. All in different directions, as soon as possible. Actually, no. That was your second mistake. The third mistake was, whatever I said before. The first mistake, technically, was dealing with Mayuri. You shouldn't have never touched her. The survivors began to flee in terror. Oh, back to Rentaro. It's okay. Don't panic. There's still time. There's nothing to worry about. Suzaha's just fine. And before long, Mayuri will show up at the lab, like nothing happened. Well, we'll see. When I reached the radio building, I realized that many people in the crowd of pedestrians were holding their phones up to the sky. There was evidently no service near the station either. I took a moment to catch my breath as I looked up at the radio building. I could hear what sounded like a distant explosion. I feel like you could have said gunfire. It wasn't just one. Explosions were coming in a series. Several of the people around me were glancing at their surroundings, confused by these unfamiliar sounds. Well, I guess you wouldn't know. Okay, fair enough. Explosions then. And then I realized. That was gunfire. I remembered the sounds I'd heard during the battle between Saren's rounders and the Russian military. Okay, well then you should have known better. The sounds were coming from the roof of the radio building. Had I not made it in time. Suzuha. I ran into the radio building. For some reason, the elevator was under maintenance and turned off. I had no choice but to take the stairs. My heart was pounding so fast that I thought it would burst and I would trip several times due to how tense I was. I stumbled again and again on the stairs. How many times had I come up these stairs feeling like this? Cursing my lack of endurance, I headed for the top floor. When I got to the 7th floor, I ran into someone I'd hoped I wouldn't see. No. My guess that I'd run into them was right. I wish that I wasn't, but... He's seriously here? Too afraid to go up? Dr. Leskinen. Hello, Lintalo. I didn't expect to see you here so early. Dr. Leskinen seemed perturbed when he saw my face. What are you doing here? Calm down for a moment. We can't talk when you're out of breath like that, can we? What are you doing here? What happened to Amadeus? The sampling test I asked you to perform ended 6 months ago. I can't tell you that. That was his answer. Even though Amadeus had disappeared, Leskinen was extremely calm. There was no sign of him trying to deal with the problem, and instead of being in his office, he was here. That was all I needed to know. So the message Kurisu sent me was true, wasn't it? The father that she had spoken of was Leskinen, after all. What happened to Kurisu and Maho? You're trying to analyze their memory data to extract the information on the time machine, aren't you? Well, that's a surprise. And Kurisu told you all that? I thought I was keeping an eye on her. I wonder when she did it. Leskinen seemed truly shocked, which meant he hadn't noticed that Kurisu was an at Chandler, or that she'd spoken to me there. Oh, okay. I dare you. I dare you. The worldline loves me too much. I dare you. And then, Leskinen took out a gun and pointed it at me. It seems you've learned a little too much. Just, who are you? A scientist. But science isn't a charity, you see. Are you aware of an American civilian intelligence company called Strategic Focus? Strategic Focus? The American company. Stratfor. I'd read about them on a conspiracy theory website. I remembered reading that they acquired top-secret information on Russian ballistic missiles that even the CIA couldn't get, and then sold it. The result was the destruction of the CIA's reputation. And at the same time, the total reorganization of Russia's military strategy. I'd even heard rumors that during the Gulf and Iraq wars, they'd obtain information about the warring countries faster than anyone, and spread it as needed. The world government supposedly called them the Shadow CIA. So was he going to use Amadeus for military purposes? Was everything he said at that seminar just platitudes and lies? Probably. Or at least mostly. Well, I don't think I'm the only one who's important here. Am I? Anyway, Lintalo, I heard something from Katsumi. You have the new emphysalitis, too, don't you? In fact, you seem to know something about how it works. That's very interesting. Would you be willing to offer that information to me? All you have to do is undergo a simple procedure, and I'll be happy to hire you as my assistant. You're brainwashing? For some reason, my whole body broke out in goosebumps at the word procedure. The Dr. Liskin and I knew. The man with the childlike, mischievous heart and deep scientific curiosity. The man who'd been so kind to me. The man I'd respected. Was gone. In his place was the cruel scientific fundamentalist who thought nothing of human lives or hearts as he pointed a gun at me. Or was this who he truly was? Suddenly, he seemed like a terrifying unknown. How about it? He took a step towards me. And then... another fierce gunfight broke out above. Leskinen clicked his tongue at the sound. He glanced towards the stairs. Why am I hearing gunfire? I told them so many times to handle this peacefully. Told you, the world line's on my side. I took advantage of the distraction. Luckily, I was still on the staircase. I tackled his legs as hard as I could, and he lost his balance and fell. He hit his head hard on one of the steps, and after a moment's jerk, stopped moving at all. Hopefully you broke his neck or something. Like the right hit to the head. He might be dead. I hope. But I didn't care anymore. Based. I'd become a murderer many times over already. When I opened the door, what I saw was a vision from the heart of hell itself. And there was blood everywhere, and bodies too. Oh, what is this? In the middle of the sea of blood was a girl in a motorcycle suit and helmet, covered in crimson as she laid on the ground. She held a giant cleaver. I could see instantly that she was responsible for this disaster. Her shoulders moved up and down a little, so evidently she was still alive. I approached the woman, trying my best not to throw up from the stench. Just shoot her. Are you okay, Mommy? I could hear her voice from beneath the cracked, broken helmet. Oh, so I don't have to muffle myself? I looked closer and saw that some of the blood was her own. Her body was racked by bullet wounds, and her left hand was completely gone. It was a miracle that she had somehow survived all that. She didn't seem to notice me as she slowly crawled through the blood. I followed her gaze, and saw Mayuri huddled beneath the time machine. Suzuha seemed to be unhurt. There was blood on Mayuri's face. Oh yeah, there is. I hadn't expected to see her here. I was worried about her wound, but more than anything, I was glad she was okay. She raised her face when she heard my voice. But the next moment, her eyes locked on the girl in the motorcycle suit. No! She saw the thing crawling toward her and screamed. Mommy? Mommy, this isn't what it looks like. Kagari didn't want to kill anyone. I just wanted to protect you. Kagari. Did she say Kagari? It was only then that I realized that the girl in the motorcycle suit was the Kagari Shiina that Suzuha had been looking for. I'm sorry, Mommy. Kagari, that's enough. Suzuha yelled, unable to take any more. Don't move anymore. You'll die. Kagari didn't want to scare you. Really, I mean it. I just had to save you. So please don't hate me. I'm sorry, Mommy. Forgive me. At last, her strength failed and she collapsed. I returned to my senses and ran to her before Suzuha could get there. Hey, are you okay? Her breathing was wheezy and shallow. One of the bullets had probably pierced her lungs. I thought taking off her helmet would help her breathe, so I put my hand on it to remove it. But she grabbed my hand and pushed it away. No. Don't. Don't take it. Not in front of Mommy and Big Sis Suzuha. Big Sis? You tried to kill Big Sis. Multiple times. Please, Okabe. Her voice, and the way she talked. I realized who this girl called Kagari Shiina was. I looked close and saw I recognized her face. Do I recognize her voice? Wouldn't she have to be one of the friends? Would it be the tomboy? No, the tomboy's in the hospital. Would it? No, it'd have to be, and it can't be Suzuha's mother. It can't be the black hair one, can it? I forget the names of Mayuri's friends. There's two possibilities, I think, because there were 4 friends, right? One's the mother of Suzuha. One's currently in the hospital. I only remember like the black hair one. I forget the other one. No. No. You're... But why? Uncle Okarin, is Kagari okay? Stay back. I quickly motioned to Suzuha to keep her distance. Leave her to me. You take care of Mayuri. Is she okay? Check for me. She looked upset, but did as I asked. She went back to Mayuri and started to look at her wounds. Mayuri was covering her face and trying not to look at the bodies. It's okay. It's not deep. I relaxed a little when I heard that. I don't recognize her. The helmet's blocking too much. I still don't actually recognize her. I think it's the friend that I can't think of. I literally can't even remember the friend's face. I'm pretty sure there was another friend, wasn't there? I'm so glad. You're safe, Mommy. Kagari's voice was a whisper as I cradled her in my arms. And then she slowly closed her eyes. Her breathing got weaker. Hang in there. Why? Why are you... It's okay. Don't worry. Even like this, I don't suffer or feel pain. I always hear the voice of God. He tells me that it doesn't hurt, that I don't feel the pain. So I just... I can just let her cough, I guess. I'll tell you, Okabe. The real one doesn't know anything. Oh. She's been in Europe on an exchange program for 3 years. The professor manipulated things behind the scenes to send me to Akihabara. The real one doesn't know anything. The professor. Did she mean... In this world line, Hashida and the real one will meet next year. Oh! You bitch. That's how. Yeah, when I saw her face, I was like, she looks like Suzuha's mother. I was like, no, that can't be right. She must be the missing friend that I can't think of. Is there even a fourth one, or is it just these three? Maybe it's just those three. Maybe I'm just making up that there's another one. Cause I recognize it as the mother, but it was like, that couldn't be right. But it is. Or at least it's not, but it was that person. Because the actual mother, as she just said, is not even here. So no matter what, they're not supposed to meet yet. Not until next year. Well, she said in this world line, though. I don't know, but... That's crazy. But why does she look like them? Did they help make her look like this? In this world line, Hashida and the real one will meet next year. Kagari opened her eyes a little once more, and looked toward the time machine, toward Mayuri and Suzuha. Wait, what? Did you actually like him? Why? What? But you knew you couldn't have him, right? It's because of Suzu. So you just... Is that why you kept, like, dragging Suzu into it? You kept hanging out with Suzu every time she was, like, there. But you literally tried to would have killed Suzu if she hadn't been able to fight you off properly. There were multiple times you would have killed Suzu. Wait. Were you trying to win over Hashida so that Suzu wouldn't even be born? So that she couldn't stop this? Was that a plan? That was a way to get rid of Suzu without killing her? To stop her without killing her? Just erase her? I mean, I don't know about that. That still seems like killing her in a way. It's okay. I'm sure the real one will love Hashida too. Just like I did. Bruh. I said it. Don't tell anyone, okay? And this time, her smile still shining in her eyes. They closed for real. With one final shudder, the strength left her body. Her life faded away in my hands. There was so much I wanted to ask her. Why had she appeared before us using that name? There were so many things I didn't understand. But Kagari Shiina's life ended in that moment. Uncle Okarin, is Kagari okay? I came back to my senses when I heard her voice. If I told her about Kagari's death, it would cause her a lot of mental stress. That wasn't a good idea. Right now, I needed to do something about the time machine as fast as possible. She's okay. I'll take her to a hospital. I slung Kagari's bloody body around my shoulder and stood up. You shut down the time machine and hide it. The cops will be coming. Dad, of course he's not dead. I should have known. I was hopeful, but it's too late. What? Before I could open the door, a huge shadow appeared from within. Professor. He wasn't dead. But he must have taken a lot of damage to the head, because his face was the color of clay, and one of his eyes wasn't focusing. This will be a war zone soon. America, Russia, and Japan have all started to move. Once the gears start turning, you can't stop them. You don't know who you're talking to. If Kagari had only told us sooner, things wouldn't have gotten this bad. Leskinen knew about Kagari, which meant that I was right. But Suzuha spoke before I could. I see. So you're the professor. Shoot him. You're the one who brainwashed Kagari, aren't you? Is that true? Is that the kind of person you are? I myself haven't done anything. Leskinen didn't try to deny it. 10 years ago, I found a helpless girl on the streets and helped her so that she could grow up like this. Helped her? This never would have happened if she led a normal life. Could you not yell like that? My head is killing me. I'm telling the truth. She made contact with me. It was her plan to get plastic surgery and infiltrate this city. Okay, so I was right. I knew that... Oh, right, because she had red hair. I forgot about her red hair. And didn't she have, like, green eyes? Or something like that? So, yeah, she got plastic surgery. Jesus, woman. Evidently, the voice of God in her head tells her everything she needs to do. Was she brainwashed before she was sent back here? Wait. She was an orphan that they found. Was she an orphan you placed for them to find and take in? At first, I thought she was a homeless girl, making up stories in hopes of getting food. But when I examined her brain and her memories, I found something very interesting and wonderful. Your future self. This god she spoke of. And even as his face twisted in pain, he smiled proudly. It was you. She was a plant from your future self. Oh, Saucy, welcome in. Thanks for your daily check-in. And thanks for your contribution. So you knew they would go back in time somehow. So you planted her to try to get close to them and go with them. See, if she had known this, if she could hear him saying this right now, this god she spoke of, it was me, from the year 2036. You're a real mad scientist. Shoot him. Shoot him now. Suddenly, I heard a siren down below. Well, he did say it was going to turn into a war zone, didn't he? Wait, is that why? That's why they cut off all the phone signals? Just hearing the sound made me feel uneasy. I'd never heard a sound like it before. What is this? This is guerrilla attack information. Repeat. Guerrilla attack information. A guerrilla attack may occur in this area. Please get indoors and obtain further information from radio or television broadcasts. I heard that announcement coming from the speakers on the street. A guerrilla attack. Oh, God. I could hear several helicopters in the sky above me. Their engines were clearly more powerful than the ones in the media's news choppers. I recognized the sounds from the time I had spent in the wartime worldline. I told you, didn't I? There's about to be a war over the machine right here. The Third World War is about to begin. I'm sure the people here have no idea a world war is about to begin in the middle of their city. And then Luskin leaned up against a wall, and sat down, and stopped moving. Good. Whether he passed out or gone into a coma from the brain damage, I didn't have time to find out. It was like the air in the city had gotten heavier. And that's how it felt. A chill ran down my spine. I'd spent a month at war in that worldline, and the same future was about to begin here. Something like that couldn't happen in Japan. It was like a TV show or a movie. But I knew instinctively that this wasn't fiction. There had been signs since 6 months ago. Here, in Akihabara, in Tokyo, in Japan, spies and soldiers from all around the world had been working in the shadows. So I'd known this would happen. By refusing Suzuha's request and choosing the world line where Mayuri survived, I'd doomed over 5 billion people. I was the one who chose this. It was me. Uncle Okuren! I looked and saw that Suzuha was pushing Mayuri into the time machine. We're going to jump to the past. What? Take care of Kagari. Suzuha had no idea that Kagari was already dead. She leaped into the cockpit. I raced over and grabbed onto the hatch, and then looked inside. You can't mean a year ago. You're going back there. So suddenly. It's not sudden, and we're not going back there. She was tapping commands into the console as she spoke. What? What do you mean? I accidentally pressed enter. Sorry. What? What do you mean you're not going back there? I'm borrowing Big Sis Mayu for a little. Mayuri was already strapped into a seat. Let me drink some water. Just like I was when I jumped a year ago with Suzuha. Mayuri. You... I heard fierce gunfire and screams in the distance. It looked like some of the spies had started fighting each other. Kagari may have just wiped out a force from one nation, but an army from an entirely different one was still coming. Okarin, here! Mayuri handed me a smartphone. I took it without thinking. Yeah, I figured. I can't get signal, so I'll give this to you, okay? Read the message. It'll tell you how Mayushi feels. Wait. Why are you going? If you go, it won't change anything. You can't do anything. And if you go, you won't be able to come back. I mean, she can the long way. No, you're... Well, I mean, unless this game goes for a completely different way to do something, she's wrong, but we'll see. No, it can't be you who does it, Okarin. This is Mayushi's job. I don't understand. I don't know what you're talking about. Please, get out of the time machine, Mayuri. You leave the wheel of causality, and I won't even know why I chose this world line. Mayuri gently rubbed my cheek. And she smiled, sadly. She softly pushed my shoulder. It threw me off balance and made me let go of the hatch. Then the hatch closed. Mayuri! Wait! It was too late. By the time I grabbed back on, the hatch was sealed shut. The door control was biometric. Only Suzuha could open it now. The time machine started to roar. A pale light began to gather around it. I'd seen this before in the Alpha world line. Why? Mayuri. Oh god. Hi! Don't shoot me. Just then, a group of armed men kicked open the door and swarmed onto the roof. They were highly trained military operatives. Don't shoot me. And then an attack helicopter descended from the skies. Shoot each other. Okay, good. The soldiers started to shoot at it. But the helicopter seemed to ignore them as it slowly hovered in place. I realized the powerful rocket launchers on either side of its body were aimed at me. No, at the time machine. It couldn't be. No. Don't. But my worst fears were realized. Uh-oh. As long as they quickly get it started before it lands, the helicopter fired its rockets. Also, you should probably run away from the time machine. Because even if it disappears, it's gonna hit you, maybe. At least the area around you. And they headed straight for the time machine. It was still there, shrouded in light. No! Did it hit? And the second I yelled, a powerful blast blew me back. Is it possible? Because if the time machine blows up, and we don't have the time leap machine because the Amadeus system is gone, because the Amadeus was, well, it was kind of our only chance. Although, the phone call came from Itaru, Maho, and Rintaro. So if he helps Itaru and Maho with their current experiment on the time leap machine, I guess he could get it set back up again. Is that where this is leading? If that's where this is leading, that means they're dead. They're dead. They're dead. The next thing I knew, I was crawling on the ground. Wait, can we find her phone? Suzuha's phone? What was Itaru going to tell her? Did he not realize that she wasn't going to listen to the message and was going to put it off? Did he not realize that, or did he know? But then why talk to her that way if he knew she would... Maybe he said it that way because he knew she would take it seriously and put it down because she needed to compose herself. I don't know. I saw that some of the soldiers had already joined the mountain corpses on the ground. And some of them were still shooting at the helicopter. I stood up as fast as I could. My whole body felt like it was on fire. My skin was burnt in places. My clothes had been blasted off. No, my own problems didn't matter. What about the time machine? I looked up toward where the time machine had been. If it had jumped in time, it should have been able to avoid the rockets. But... there were scraps of metal everywhere. I could tell they belonged to the time machine. Had I not made it in time...
Mayuri?
I think he said that better than I can. I looked around in the cloud of smoke.
Na, Mayuri. Doko da?
Okay, well, he said something else, so... Mayuri. Where are you?
Mayuri! Suzuha! Henji o shite kure!
Mayuri. Suzuha. Answer me! There were bodies everywhere. But I couldn't see Mayuri or Suzuha. I couldn't even tell if they were alive or dead. There were no bodies. They'd simply vanished. After that, things went far beyond my power to control. Brutal battles took place on the ground and in the sky of Akihabara. I'd seen footage of war in the Middle East on the news. Those same scenes were playing out in Akihabara. I managed to slip through the chaos of the battle, and barely escaped the radio building with my life. I had no choice but to leave Kagari's body. I took the long way back to the lab, so that no one would find me. By the time I arrived, the sun had set, and the night sky was illuminated with explosions and tracer rounds. The whole of Akihabara was like someone had poked a beehive. The lights were out at the lab. But inside I found Daru, Maho, and Ferris staring at the TV and computer monitor. Okarin! Okabe? I'm so glad you're safe. Wait, you're hurt. Are you okay? Did you get caught up in the fighting? First aid, quick! I didn't have the energy to answer them. I looked toward the footage on the TV screen. The reporter was wearing a bulletproof vest and hard hat. He was screaming at the top of his lungs, trying to drown out the reporters from the other stations. It's like a war zone. The area around Akihabara Station and Central Street had been cut off. US and SEF helicopters and tanks are... Oh, just now, I heard another huge explosion. Is this really Japan? I feel like I'm reporting on a civil war. The government says that it's terrorism, but I can't imagine. And then a stray shot from an anti-material rifle, fired by a special forces team from some country or another, struck the news van's engine and blew it up. Ah! It exploded! There's been an explosion! Are you trying to get killed? Get out of here! This is war! You're going to die! An SDF soldier forced his way onto the screen and yelled at the media to run away. A war? With who? Hell if I know. Just after that, I heard another explosion, and the video was cut off. Did they take a direct hit? Everyone fell silent. It's dangerous here too. I can't go home. The net's in an uproar. Hey, Okarin, where's Suzuha? And did you find Mayuri? Why did I say it that way? Mayushi? Suzuha and Mayuri are... Suzuha and Mayuri either went back to the past or they're dead. They're definitely dead. Welcome in, Shoujo. Thanks for the lurk. Thanks for your daily check-in. What? Daru stormed up to me, infuriated. Good night, Shoujo. What do you mean? Which is it? An attack helicopter fired a rocket launcher at the time machine. It was destroyed. Suzuha and Mayuri were aboard. They were about to go back to the past. I saw some pieces of the time machine left, but it wasn't everything. There weren't any blood, I get. I don't know if there would be any blood, but there weren't any bodies, I guess. There weren't any like limbs. So it like struck just barely as it left. So it got like some of it. Wouldn't the explosion just have followed him to the other side though? Like it blew it and some pieces flew off immediately and were left behind while the rest of it managed to go back in time and then blew up. And Daru, I looked and looked, but I couldn't find Suzuha and Mayuri's bodies anywhere. Not even a piece. It was like they vanished without a trace. Do you think they made it back to the past? The tears I tried so hard to hold back came pouring out. Daru fell to his knees. Ferris and Maho were staring at me, eyes wide in shock. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Daru slammed his fist into the floor. This can't be happening! It can't! I tried to wipe away my tears and realized I was holding something in my right hand. Sorry, the pauses are me constantly yawning a lot. It is very late for me. It was the cell phone that Mayuri had given me. She told me to read the message on it. Oh god. You should not do that now. On the possibility that she's dead, this will just hurt a lot. I can relate. It wasn't locked. I opened the mail folder. Only this was Suzu's phone instead. There were several unsent messages addressed to her friends and family. One of them was addressed to me. Was this what she wanted me to read? I'll read it. It's just gonna hurt a lot. With shaking fingers, I tapped the screen to open the message. Don't do it. God. Dear Okarin, it's Mayushi. I knew I should probably tell you this face to face, but I wasn't sure if I could say it right. I wasn't sure what I'd do if you tried to stop me, so I decided to send a message instead. I'm going back to the past with Suzu. You're probably mad, and you want to know why, right? But it's something that I have to do. You see, I was the one who hid my hikoboshi. My strong hikoboshi, who always got back up and laughed no matter how bad things were. I was the one who hid him beyond the dark clouds. I was wrong. No one was trying to make you save the future all by yourself. You've got Daru, and Suzu, and Luca, and Ferris, and Yuki, and now Maho. So this time, it's my turn. This is my first big mission as lab member number 2. I'm sure you're worried, but I'll be fine. And even if something happens, I know you'll come to save me. Well, I mean, I need a way to do that. How am I going to do that? Maybe if we build the leap machine, I guess. Which is what I would assume is probably what's going to happen. The Kiyoma Hyoen I love will come riding in on a new time machine that he made and save the day. I know it. So I'm going. I promise I'll come back. I'll come back to you. So just wait for me a little, okay? I love Kiyoma Hyoen. But you know, I love Rentaro Okabe even more. Oh, you should have spoke up earlier before he found a new woman.
お前忘れてるだろ
You forgot, didn't you?
お前は俺の人質なんだぞ
Look who's alive. You're my hostage.
いなくなったら
You can't
人
be
質
my
にならない
hostage
じゃないか
if you go away.
何かあったら助けに来いだと
You want me to come save you if something happens?
人質のくせに
What kind of hostage are you?
狂気のマッドサイエンティストが
The mad scientist of
お前
madness
なんかのために
would never go to save you.
お前
To save you.
なんかのためにお前はバカだ
You're an idiot.
でも
But
もっとバカだったのは
I'm a bigger idiot.
この俺だ
My heart was in pain. It hurt so much. It was just like after I killed Kurisu. Told you not to read it. I guess I'd unleash Kiyoma though, so maybe I'd be better off if I just fell over and died. I would do anything to be released from this pain. But you know what you have to do. But in the corner of my tear-blurred vision, I saw it. Kiyoma Hyoen's final weapon. His last hope. No. It was the thing that had brought me so many nightmares. I staggered to the development room and threw off the cardboard that was covering it. There it was. The phone wave, name subject to change, Unit 2. The thing that Maho and Daru had been working on behind my back. If I could complete this... I turned around, wiped away my tears, and saw my friends looking depressed in the middle of the darkened room.
お前たち
You said you didn't know how to make a time leap machine, right?
わからないと言ったな俺の言う通りに
Will you do what I tell you?
クリスの導き出した回を
I'll give you the answer that Kurisu discovered.
それで
And then,
タイムリープ
we'll activate the time machine. Maho said the one thing she didn't know was how to compress the memory data. Which means that everything else was finished. And I knew how to complete it. Daru was the first to nod.
僕やるよ
I'm in.
教えてくれよ
Tell us, Okarin.
私も手伝うわ
I'll help too.
決まりだにゃ
It's settled, nya. All three responded with no hesitation. And they turned toward me and spoke their answers clearly.
よし
All right.
ダルセル
And Daru,
追っかけてくれ
I want you to hack
死
Saren.
を遠隔操作する
We'll need to remote control the LHC.
そこで
We'll use that to compress the memory data
小さくする
down to 36
過去へ
bytes.
転送できる
That's small enough to send back to the past.
たったの
J-
36
just 36 bytes? You could tell she was a scientist by the way her face went pale at the number.
けどさ
But
なんか動
but
作が不安定で
sometimes this thing doesn't work right.
ただの電子レンジ
Sometimes it's just a normal microwave.
ブラウン管工房の42型ブラウン管
It's the 42-inch CRT in the Braun workshop.
電話レンジカッコ仮は
The phone wave named subject to change only works when it's turned on.
ブラウン管あ
The CRT TV? Oh, so that's it. Just the word CRT were enough for her to figure it out. The life was coming back to their eyes.
それなら
Then we may be able to finish. Stumbled all over. Then we may be able to finish it after all.
でも
But even if we can finish it, are you going to start using it now?
何の実証もせずに
We can't run human trials without doing anything else first.
自分の作ったものに
You're not confident in what you built.
でも
But
別の世界線で
Kurisu did it
や
already.
ってみせたぞ
In another world line.
それはクリスだからよ
That's because she's Kurisu.
私は
I can't be
あ
her.
なたにはなれないわ
Honestly, we've already gone over in the first game many times over that the outcome stays the same. The way that the outcome comes about, the lead up, can change. We'll find a way to change. If Kurisu's dead and we still need a time leap machine, the universe delivers us something else, and which in this case is Maho. No, you can't be her specifically. You are a different person, but the universe brought you here to do what she can't because she's dead.
アットチャンネルに書かれたクリスの
You saw Kurisu's message at channel, right? What? Tell her that she was always the person I wanted to be. Tell her that, and then I forgot what the rest was, but I'll respect the most. Or no, that's the previous line. Ordinary intellect, person I wanted to be, the real Amadeus.
クリスにあそこまで言わせたんだ
You got Kurisu to say that,
なのに逃げる気
and now you're going to run away. Well,
逃げたりなんか
I'm not running
しないわ
away.
よ
Don't underestimate
諦めないで
me. I nodded back and smoothed back my hair, which had been moosed by the explosion.
今日もこれ
Kiyoma, here. Ferris brought me my white lab coat, which had been hanging for ages on the wall in the development room. I bit down on my lip and wiped away the tears one more time. I took the lab coat and slipped my arms through the sleeves. I spun around so that the hem of the coat flew up and stood triumphantly in the center of the lab, just as I used to. Oh god, we're gonna embarrass ourselves in front of Maho. We're gonna embarrass Maho. And then I declared in a loud voice,
これより電話レンジカッコ仮に
We will now complete the phone wave, name subject chain to change. Unit number 2,
してくれ
and perform a time leap. Lend me your aid.
今度こそ
This time,
俺は絶対に
I'm never giving up. I looked at Daru and Ferris, and finally at Maho.
たとえ
Oh, she's not embarrassed.
何回
And even if I fail the first dozen
ダメ
times,
だったとしても
or the first 100 times,
前回何万回
I'll try again 1,000 times,
挑んで
1,000,000 times,
他も全て
or 1,000,000,000 times. I'll save them all.
マユリも
Suzuha, Mayuri,
そして
and Kurisu too.
これは
And this is the first step.
一歩となる
For the first time in a year, I was back to my old self. My friends saw me and nodded, their faces filled with resolve. It took almost 2 full days to finish work on the phone wave. Meanwhile, The chaos in Akihabara continued, and it wasn't safe to go outside. Well, just gives you a reason to just lock yourselves up. Working on the time leap machine while knowing that the battles might reach us at any minute, or that a special forces team might burst in at any time, was a hard job that wore on our nerves. But still, we managed to finish the machine somehow. I jumped. Sorry, the person I'm kind of watching off to the side, the person that I'm going to raid, it seems like she's finally realized that she still has hours to go on the game she's playing, so apparently she is going to end it soon, so I might have to find a new raid target. Speaking of which, I actually am done right now. I'm going to stop right here. I think I will stop here and save this for next stream, for next Saturday. So let me, no, not backlog, sorry. Let me save. Let me save here and then find a good screenshot. Thanks for stream. Thank you, Saucy, and thank you for being here. Save here, because why not? And then I'm going to move forward to Rentaru, hopefully. Ignore all this, ignore all this. Just get to Rentaru, please. Hopefully hopefully I don't do any, like, major spoiler. Ignore the dialogue. Can you please hop on screen? No, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. That'll do. That'll do. What was the button to... There's a button to hide this, I think. I forgot what the button was again. Which one tells me the controls? Wasn't there something that told me the controls? Not this. Not this. Help? Hide text? That one? Is it? Oh, it does. Cool. There we go. Perfect. I will... So hopefully this manages to be my thumbnail for YouTube. So we will end it here. Let me just pause for a moment before I put up the raid messages so that, like, the chat box doesn't show up and get into the thumbnail, hopefully. But thank you everyone for hanging out with me. For those who are in chat and those who are just lurking, I appreciate it as always. It looks like I still have time to raid Koki, even if she is going to end soon, so I will still raid Koki. But thank you everyone. I hope you all have a good morning, day, or night, whatever time it is for you guys. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye everyone. Okay, let me bring up the raid message, but I'm going to modify it.
In a room where shadows loom, a man sits deep in gloom, with a pen held tight in hand, sketching dreams that understand.
That'll be the raid message for followers.
Walls may close, the night may fall,
And then for subscribers, let me get my emotes.
stands tall, Lines he draws are doors that lead to worlds where dreams are free. With a pen he builds his dreams, turning silence into streams.
We'll use this
In
face.
his mind,
That'll be
he's
the
never
subscriber message.
alone. Crafting realms he calls his own. Paper whispers, secrets told, journeys inked in black and bold. Mountains climb or rivers bend in the world that he can mend. He may be confined and still, yet his heart is wild with thrill. Through each line a sky soars